As the Colorado River water leaves Dick Johnson's care, it is tunneled through 8 more miles of red rock, hoisted over 3 more mountain ranges, and tunneled through 90 more miles of rock. The aqueduct appears, disappears, and appears again, following a course that only a man-made river can take.
As the water progresses on through the mountain out into the open desert area, we find that we have had to provide covered features in areas where we may have flash flooding that may disrupt the aqueduct. The siphons vary in length. Some of the siphons are only there just to transport water under a railroad or under a roadway. After the water leaves the 5th pumping plant, the Hines pump plant, we have no open canal sections on into Lake Matthews. The water flows through either tunnels or covered conduit.
This is Lake Matthews near Riverside, the final stop on the Colorado Aqueduct. Just before the aqueduct has reached Lake Matthews, a river has been cut out of it to run southward to San Diego and the Mexican border. Lakes are the halfway houses in an aqueduct, where water rests up before continuing onward. The waters gathered here will be distributed to the cities and water agencies throughout Southern California. But before it reaches the user, the water goes through a last taming process. Metropolitan's several filtration plants launder hundreds of millions of gallons of water a day, a flow that would fill the average backyard swimming pool in 1 or 2 seconds. Agricultural and industrial water doesn't need all this attention, but drinking water does. Its crystal clear purity is assured in the filtration plant laboratories and in their central control office. By the early 1960s, a thriving civilization was depending in large part on water from the Colorado River Aqueduct. Under a ruling by the Supreme Court of the United States, however, California had lost a good portion of its rights to Colorado River water to Arizona. In addition, California's population continued to grow enormously from the San Francisco Bay Area to the Mexican border. In planning for the future, water leaders had been looking far northward. What you're seeing here is water that descends from the moist wilderness of the Northern California Sierra. You're in a total change of climate and scene. This is not the near-desert country that holds the civilization we've been talking about. It is 600 miles upstate. These waters tumble into the Feather River, are tamed and quieted by the state water project's Oroville Dam, and brought to rest in Lake Oroville. Releases from Oroville flow gently down the Feather River into the Sacramento and then into the delta of the Sacramento and San Joaquin rivers, an area rich in fish, wildlife, agriculture, and recreational resources. The delta marks the beginning of another man-made river. This one is called the California Aqueduct. It is the largest water project in history. This aqueduct is the main element of the state water project built in the 1960s. It courses down the central body of the state, feeding Californians and their homes and farms and factories along the way. In 1972, this water finally reached Southern California. The Metropolitan Water District is the largest customer of the state water project. Eventually, the district will receive much more of its water from Northern California than from the Colorado River. The California Aqueduct looks like it runs downhill, but it doesn't. It flows uphill, and to do this, it has to be pumped just like the Colorado Aqueduct. Prepare to be deceived by the mild-looking range of mountains called the Tehachapis. They don't look as threatening as the jagged barricades between the Colorado and the ocean. Prepare to be deceived by this modest-looking plant designed to pump Northern California water over those mild-looking mountains to the coastal plain of Southern California. Now prepare to be undeceived. This one plant lifts the water nearly 2,000 feet in one boost. It is as powerful as all 5 pumping plants on the Colorado River Aqueduct put together. When it reaches full capacity some years from now, it will use as much power in one day as the entire city of San Francisco. Just as this water is essential to our California way of life, electricity is essential to move these man-made rivers. In the 1980s, the present contracts for power for the pumps on both aqueducts run out. Beyond question, the cost will rise drastically, and in turn, the cost of water will go up a lot. All of us remember the energy panic of 1973. In that dark winter, there were threats of power blackouts. There was gasoline for the car only after long waits in line, or every other day, or not at all. After the gas started flowing and the cars started going, the energy crisis remained. The world, especially the West, still runs on petroleum. The cost of oil has soared, and this has raised the cost of basic essentials that depend on it, that of food and that of water. The civilized Californian wants to see his coastline preserved. He wants his air cleared of pollution. These are part of civilization, and they have their price. Communities that have built themselves on the edge of a desert between sagebrush and salt water recognize the interweavings of conservation, power, and fresh water. This is a power generating plant in Long Beach, recently built on the Southern California coast. It creates electricity from turbines whirled by steam, from water heated by flaming petroleum. Petroleum is not only expensive, it is a pollutant of air. This plant, which each day supplements full-time generating units during hours of heaviest demand, was allowed to rise only because its design makes double use of the less polluting jet fuel it burns. But jet fuel is much more costly than ordinary petroleum. The electricity generated here will doubtless help lift water from the Colorado River in Northern California, but it's not going to be a cheap ride. The pumping plants of the Metropolitan Water District and the State Water Project draw energy from different sources in the Southwest. The planners and engineers of major water agencies examine future ones as a jeweler would examine a diamond. They've never kidded themselves about water sources, and they don't kid themselves about energy.